Welcome to the Power Lunch Podcast, your midday dose of boldness, brilliance, and a little bit of badassery. I'm Amy Sousa, here with my powerhouse co-hosts, Tracie Munce and Lisa Carmichael, and we're coming in hot to shake things up. Each week, we dish out bite-sized, high-impact conversations on business, health, purpose, wealth, and the wild, beautiful chaos in between. Whether you're building your dream, rebooting your story, or just catching your breath, this is your space to get grounded, inspired, and reignited. This isn't just another podcast, it's your power move. Let's go.
Welcome back, Amy and Tracie. We're back here at the podcast, and we're still talking about that power luncheon where we were discussing how to maximize your health and that awareness that I think all three of us got from that conversation. We're bringing in another guest, someone that was on the panel, and her name is Sheila Hittner. The radiant Sheila.
Thank you.
Sheila's a wellness advocate and cleansing expert who believes food is more than just fuel. It's medicine, it's energy, and it's one of the most powerful tools we have to reset and renew. Is that how you view fuel? Is that how you view food, Tracie, as fuel?
I've started to. It's interesting. A few years ago, I went through a program, and one of the things they said is this fueling you or is it clogging you? And I actually had that sticky note in my refrigerator. Mm-hmm. So when I opened it, it says, "Is this clogging you?"
Wow.
And I thought, and for me, that it changes the way that I eat food specifically now. And I think that the Power Luncheon really was another reminder for me of being super intentional about what I put into my body. And I've been on my newest health journey, I guess, or my reconnection as of the end of February, where I really started to focus on, it's always been a value of mine, but I've never made it a priority, right? So when you start to make health and longevity and vitality your number one goal, I started to get super intentional about what was no longer serving me and how to release unwanted or unintentional about what was no longer serving me, and how to release unwanted or unnecessary weight on my body, but also how to release poor habits and to gain new habits. So I was very the April luncheon was super powerful for me.
Oh, it was, definitely.
And you've been on a health journey, specifically this last health journey for the last 18 months.
I have, and the biggest thing with me is strength. I want to feel stronger. I want to feel better.
I'm with you.
Yeah, and interesting that you're talking about clogging, because that's where we've brought Sheila in, because the clogging, the cleansing is really what's important to you.
I feel like the cleansing is the root of where we need to start in order for all of those other things. Getting rid of the endocrine disruptor chemicals in the home that we're putting on our body and in our home, because all of that is affecting the way that the body functions. And, you know, I always like to put things into perspective for people, right? It's like wherever your health journey is, Amy, I don't know, you know, what caused you to start your journey, but it's like, unfortunately, we wait until something bad happens before we get into that journey. And that's my passion, is to help people before that point, right? I don't want you to have to do what I went through for 2 years, right? And so if we can just start to educate people on basics of what to do, you know, are we going to be perfect? No, right? 80-20. I know when I go out to eat, that chicken's going to have some hormones in it, and what. Don't be that hard on yourself or your body. But the cleansing is the key. I've learned that through working with naturopaths and doctors. And to put some things into perspective, I always like to bring this up. So in 1970, we were born with 70 chemicals from our mother's placenta. Would you guys care to guess how much it is now?
Ooh,
Anybody?
Right.
300, over 350.
Ooh,
Wow.
triple.
So when we look at each generation that's born and the conditions or health issues or, whatever that is that we have, no wonder each generation is getting weaker and weaker and sicker, right? With that comes busy lifestyles, poor moms, these days, they're just trying to survive, get through, and so the fast food and the cooking has gone away. So now we're getting all of those bad habits instilled besides the bad foods in our society. The other thing I like to share with people is when our grandparents ate an orange, they ate one orange. How many oranges do you think we have to eat today to get the same nutrient value from that fruit?
Not just one?
Not
6
just
to
one. 8. So we have to eat 8 oranges to that one to get the same nutrient value because our soil's depleted because of all the chemicals that are used in growing our foods. And so then the other one that I like to put into perspective, which might be really shocking to people, is for 2 years I had to do a coffee enema every other day because my liver was failing. So at my point it was functioning 35%. So think of that clogged pipe. Think of that what you said, your note on the fridge, right? Is this plugging me or not? And so our livers have such a big job to do, and we have one. We have 2 kidneys, but we have one liver. So I will forever take care of my liver. Helps you make you younger. Makes you look younger too. So when you're healthier, right? So in the natural world, if I was to go to a natural cancer treatment center, how many coffee enemas a day do you think they require you to do to clean your body?
Probably none.
4.
A day.
4 coffee enemas a day if you go to a natural cancer treatment center,
Okay.
right?
Okay, right.
Okay, so that's the perspective thing, right? My gosh, if I have to do 4 of those a day, where am I at now, right? So I know that I had to do years. So I do one once a week faithfully. Something I am not going to fold now. Okay, I was gone for, a week, so it's not like I'm going to carry everything with me. But, again, 80-20, there's exceptions, that kind of thing. But that's just the liver. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the kidneys. We haven't even gotten to, all those other organs, right?
Right.
So it's important to detox the body, and there's a certain way that you need to do it. Dr. Google, right? We're all on Dr. Google,
Yep.
right? Oh, it's good.
Mine's
bad.
chat, actually.
Okay,
Kevin is my best friend.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. I'm going to
But
switch to
let
that,
me,
baby.
Let me stop for just a moment because this is absolutely fascinating. But talk to me as if I'm a baby here.
Yep.
Like I am just getting started in cleanses or detoxing. Same difference, right?
Pretty much.
Interchangeable word. And then there's also fasting.
Yep.
So cleansing and fasting are 2 different things.
2 different things.
So if I am brand new into cleansing, where do I start?
You have to, I was getting there with Dr. Google, you have to prepare the body so that when you do something, you don't get really sick. So if you think of your body as, a bottle, and there's sediment in there, and you shake the bottle, you've shooken up all those toxins. And if you haven't done certain things to open up the pathways to prepare the body, you're going to have Herxheimer is what they call it, reactions, or healing crisis, where you're going to get really sick, or you're going to be really sick during that process. So there's a that I like to do it in, because we need to do a mild cleanse, if you will, to give the body the nutrients that it needs, because we got to prepare the body for what's coming. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And then that's going to get you moving. 80% of Americans are constipated. 80% of Americans are pre-diabetic. And so we need to get things moving first, because if we do a type of cleanse and it constipates you, you're backing up all of that toxicity in the body, and that's what's going to make you sick. So we need to prepare the body gently with a cleanse, and which will reduce inflammation. It'll get you pooping. Pooping is my favorite topic. And then we go into the next cleanse, and they're gentle ones to build you up. There's a lot of they're gentle ones to build you up. There's a lot of word around parasites now. Are you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the natural world, parasites are causing tumors and cancers. And it's not a third world problem. You know, it's everywhere, right? And so with that Dr. Google, somebody hears, I need to do a parasite cleanse, so they order a parasite cleanse, or they go to their doctor and get a parasite cleanse. It's going to be really bad if they haven't prepared the body. Then
Bad in the sense that it takes a lot of toll on your body. You're sick through
Yes.
it. You're,
Yes.
you know, it's like
An
it's just a hard cleanse to do.
without
physically.
without preparing the body. And then they think, well, I'm not going to continue to do it, but with a parasite cleanse, you have to do it for 3 months in a row, or don't do it because it's the cycle of the parasites and how they hatch. And trust me, I know more about this than I ever want to. You know, and you're supposed to start, you know, the night before a full moon and all these things. It sounds crazy, but there's so much science, you know, that backs it. But so if Dr. Google, somebody just hears, oh, I need to do a parasite cleanse, and they go to Dr. Google and they get this parasite cleanse, they're not going to even want to follow the 3 months because they're so sick in the first month. So people need somebody in their corner to walk them through all of these cleanses. Parasite cleansing, honestly, should be done once a year. I mean, especially with all of the information around the cancers and things like that.
Let me just ask,
Yep.
I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
What about a hydroclonic? Do you think that you start there? Do you like hydroclonics?
Colonics. Colonics aren't a bad play, because that's going to release all the excess stool that's stuck in your colon pockets and your tissues and things like that. So I had to do parasite cleansing for over a year because my candida and parasites was so bad.
And how did you know you had to how did you know that you needed to do a parasite cleanse? Because not everybody
Right.
needs to, or are you saying you should do one every year?
You should do one every year, but I was really sick, so I was working with a naturopath. And you know that tummy around the middle that you just can't get rid of, no matter what you do, no matter how good you are at your food, no matter how much you exercise.
I just wanted to ask you that same question.
Yeah. That's a serious indication that I need to do a parasite cleanse, because that's where it sticks for us women too. But who's that person that you know that always has the sinus infections, right? They're constantly, you know, have that nose drainage, and you know, you have prescription after prescription, but it never really goes away, right? So in that cheek and nose area, that's where they love to live, is in that moisture, right? Rosacea can be an indication of needing to do parasite cleansing. There's so many things that can show you on the outside, you know, what needs to happen. But I have a lot of women that come to me and they're just like, I'm doing all the right things. I'm doing all the right things. And they've tried so hard, right? And so when I did mine, I was so sick during the parasite cleanses. I did have to go get a colonic on the 6th day. because the die-off was so strong, so much, so hard. So that was a way for them to get it out quicker. So I didn't get the hives. I didn't get, all the inflammation in my belly and things like that. So colonics they are good. They are really, really good.
Speaking of women, and I think, women have babies, and then they have that belly fat. And are you saying that belly fat is caused? I was thinking it was stress. That's what some people are saying. But is it parasites? What causes that belly fat?
Everybody has parasites.
Menopausal.
Right?
Okay.
Everybody has them. It's not going to be just that, right? Your stress is going to affect your cortisol levels. And then, I've had women that I've had to say, stop exercising so much, so hard, because their cortisol levels are so high that they can't release anything. Right? Because they're so stressed and their cortisol levels are so high.
You have to allow your body to relax.
Yes.
Because you can't work out 7 days a week.
Right.
You need a break.
Right. Yes, for sure. So it's a combination of things. It's never just one thing, right? Like when you have something, there's usually 1, 2, or 3 things. That's kind of like when you go to remodel the kitchen and I'm just going to paint the cabinets, right? Well, then you're looking at the trim and then you're looking, at the flooring, right? So it's usually just never one thing. It's a combination of things, right? And once you start into that cleansing world, it's a beautiful world. It really is. And you will not want to stop because you're going to start to feel so good. That and then you're going to just learn more and understand more and grasp more and things like that you're going to, you said that, you're taking more awareness about what you're putting in, right? And the lifestyle and things like that. And it does matter. Now, I don't eat a lot of sugar. Whoever knows me knows that. And so,
So when you say sugar, I just was having this conversation with a friend because she's doing the mung bean cleanse right now, where she has it's got lots of curry in it.
Okay.
So it's not my favorite cleanse.
Okay.
Yes. And she's doing it as a reset.
Okay.
And she said, I'm trying to reset because I was just on this big road trip for the last 3 weeks and I've eaten a lot of sugar. And I said, are you trying to take sugar out of your life, which means no fruit? Or when you say sugar, are you saying sugar, processed sugars, or is sugar bad in general?
Your fruit is a simple sugar. Fruit is a simple sugar. The body knows what to do with fruit. It's what God gave us, right? God didn't give us that Snickers, right? That's processed and refined.
Complex.
Right, exactly. So the body has a harder time knowing what to do with that.
I
So
like that
fruit is a
explanation.
simple sugar. Your body knows what to do with it. But it doesn't know what to do with something that's man-made,
Complex.
Right.
I like that.
Exactly.
That makes sense to me
Yeah.
because, if it's a natural food, if it's grown,
Right.
your body knows what to do with that.
Right.
When you start introducing processed anything,
Right.
flours, sugars.
Toxic chemicals, right? Like the body doesn't know what to do with those. So
Right.
you store all of those endocrine disruptor plastics and all sorts of things in the body. I was hospitalized for aspartame poisoning from the diet pop. And aspartame is a tough chemical to get out. And so there was some serious reactions from that, just to be able to get it out of my body in the time that it took. So if we think of if we quit smoking, it takes us 7 years for our lungs to get back to pink. Okay.
Oh, they can?
They can. Okay. Yep. Right here, 2 packs a day. I used to smoke.
No way.
So and the thing is, if anybody can make these changes, if I can, anybody can. Because if you were to ask my high school friends, would they ever see Sheila stop drinking, stop smoking, stop the diet? They would lose, right? The bet. But it's like I said. Unfortunately, wait till a health crisis happens. Then we start to look at it. We wait until the kids are old enough, and now I can focus back on me, when we really need to be focusing on you all the time, because let's face it, we run the house, right, girls?
Right.
Like, we do a lot, and without you there, it's a hard spot to be, right? And you're waiting until you get to the 40 or whatever it is, and the kids are older, that, okay, now it's time to work on me, and it's a lot more work than if we would just start sooner.
Right.
Right?
So inflammation is we, as you say, we all have parasite.
Yep.
The majority or all of us have inflammation in our
Yes.
body, and that shows
Yes.
up with the aches and the pains and
Yep.
the tiredness and things like that. I have this question, two of them rolling through my head. I want to talk about the do for that. Obviously I think that the answer is it's outstanding, but what type of cleanse would you do for just basic inflammation? Is that something you do on a regular basis, or is it a one-off?
Well, there's so many different ways to go about it, right? You could, like, again, Dr. Google. I choose to do the 14-day reset because I know it works. It's what I use. And with that, you can incorporate fasting. The issue with fasting is if you've never done fasting and you're going to go gung-ho and try to go 24 hours, see, it's these extremes that we jump into at the beginning that sets us up for failure sometimes, because you can't make it. You jump into at the beginning that sets us up for failure sometimes because you can't make it. You've never even done 6 hours. What makes you think you're going to do 24 hours, right? So you need somebody that's in your corner, but more importantly, there's a rhythm to it, just like with, the cleanses and preparing the body. So fasting, just try, stop eating at 5 o'clock. Just see how you go until the next morning. Okay, maybe you're succeeding at that. It's okay. A few days later, maybe push it back to 7. So there's a method to the 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 24. And so just don't jump into the 24 or something that you're going to lose, right? Like, pick something that you're going to do so you can succeed, feel good about yourself, and then add on as you go. I think I mentioned at talk, Fasting Like a Girl, that book, right? Mm-hmm. So for females, even though I don't have my monthly cycle anymore, my body really does inside. So she talks about that, and there's a cycle on there that she has in there, and it's a great book. She's got all the why and the science of it in the beginning, and at the end of the book, then she has your menu, your hours, and then based on if you have a cycle or if you don't have a cycle, and how that all works. It's a great place to start if you need a reference, right?
In that book, she has a comment that she doesn't eat when the sun goes down. She tries to eat before the sun goes down, and it's a nice reminder. Mm-hmm. I think of that often. Yeah. Right. So if it's 9 p.m., I'm like, the sun's been down for a while, Tracie. Is this a you're just bored or you're hungry?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And let's not forget that trauma and emotions are affecting our health. So there isn't just the body cleanses. There's emotional work, that needs to happen. Yeah. Some people know the Complete Master Cleanse. It's 10 days with cayenne pepper, freshly squeezed lemons, and maple syrup, and that's all you drink for 10 days. That's it. And so I thought I'm never doing that, right? But never say never, girls. So so I did it, and I had done it 10 times, and heard many times, and there's a book, and we've got all the things that you could go through some emotional challenges and withdrawals and things like that when you do cleanses. You can have emotional releases. Right. So I'm on my 10th one thinking this is a breeze, right? Well, that's when the emotional one hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I cried every day with an issue with my dad, right? And I didn't go 10 days. I went 18 days. I just kept going because I knew I wasn't done emotionally. It had nothing to do with the physical piece for that cleanse. It was the emotional cleanse. So there's emotional releases that we do and topics and talks that we have. And you know, they're pretty powerful. I mean, some people, you know, when we do our emotional release class, will laugh. Some people will cry. Some, you know, it just really varies. But there's so much trauma, and cancer can be caused from emotional problems.
So the Western medicine side would say, is that really healthy for you to go 18 days with those 4 ingredients?
No, your body needs zero digestion. So the cayenne pepper, the maple syrup, and the freshly squeezed lemons, there's a science to that. You have to drink it within 10 minutes. You can't make it ahead of time. Like, there's all the science around why it needs to be done the way that it's done.
Interesting.
And I'm telling you, you see what you get rid of during these cleanses in all phases of them, whether it's a liver cleanse, a kidney cleanse, you know, a gallbladder cleanse, you know, whatever the cleanse is, it's amazing if you pay attention.
Well, I'm sure it's a little bit easier if you're doing that with a partner, or are you doing, most of the time, are you doing these alone?
Keith and I used to do it every quarter. We would do that maple syrup one. We would do it every quarter. And, you know, we don't need it every quarter now. I face map, so you can Google what face mapping is if you don't know what it is. And I will look at people and I'll say to Keith, I said, oh my God, that person needs to clean their kidneys. Like, look at their eyes.
Okay, look at mine. Look at mine right now and tell me which cleanse I should do.
So I told Keith one day, I said, well, if you know Keith, right? I said, honey, look at your eyes. He's like, look at your face. But I mean, it's hilarious, right? Because that's just who he is. And I said, no, really, look at your eyes. And I said, your liver needs some love. So I put this cleanse out to him. And I'm thinking, I'm never doing that. That's that lemonade one, right? And so he did it, and he was going to do it again. And I said, why? He said, because I know I'm not done yet, right? He went 12 times before he felt like he was done. And then we were on, you know, every quarter thing. But there's different types, and you know when you're ready and when you need it once you get into those things. So it's pretty fun.
With all that said, what scares you?
Ready and when you need it once you get into those things. So it's pretty fun.
With all that said, what scares you when it comes to ChatGPT? That people are starting to realize, or Dr. Google, that they're relying on those resources.
There's so many false products. There's so many products that are filled with all of the toxic chemicals, the pesticides, you know, you really don't know what you're getting. That's the problem. And then people, okay, just like, what's the shopping network thing, right? You get wrapped into it and you order all the things, and then you get home, you're like, why did I order 5 of these blenders, right?
That's how I feel every time I go to Amazon.
Yeah, so same thing, right? So you get all these things, then you get home, you're like, why did I order that? And 2, you question yourself, and you have quality of what's in there, because it's becoming so popular that you can, for example, you can go and you could buy, they say don't buy supplements on Amazon because you can put pretty much right in it. Same thing, you know, with essential oils. You can take the cap off, you can dilute it, you can do what, I mean, there's just so much of that going on that you really don't know what you're getting. So that's what scares me.
It's a good analogy, yeah.
You know, is that people just, I've heard I need to do this because I thought I would just do this parasite cleanse and order these products. And,
I have a question for you. Why would I want to hire a cleansing coach versus just doing it from a book or
Well, you have the experience, the support, the knowledge, and the cheerleader. And when something doesn't feel right, you've got somebody to call, you've got somebody to talk to, right? Because, for example, I always tell people, okay, so when you do this cleanse, if you get constipated, you have to call me. Like, you have to, because you need to stop the cleanse and we need to get you pooping before you go any further, right? Well, that you're not going to get that in
You'll just
on
stop.
a bottle, right? You'll stop, or you'll start to feel crap. You know, you just like any reason why you would want a coach in your corner, right? You need, I believe everybody needs somebody in their corner to walk them through it, especially somebody that's been through it, right?
Love that.
I'm sorry, I have one more question. And
Go
I want to
ahead.
bring it back to what Tracie was saying about travel. And when you travel, it's a little bit more difficult. I think we all know when we travel, we all have clogging. And why is that? Is it the stress that's causing that constipation?
It could be, depending on what you're traveling for. Are you traveling for a funeral? Are you traveling for fun? You know, time zones, different foods, your body needs to adjust. It's just kind of a normal process that can happen for people. It doesn't always affect everybody. But, you know, I take all my little supplements and I put them in a baggie and I mark them and I okay, I need 10 for this trip of this and I need, 15 of this, and it goes in the baggie, because I don't want my body to get that much off kilter. Right? You're eating different foods, you're exposed to different elements, and so there's a way to travel and not have it affect you, right?
Love that.
Well, we have gone a little over time.
Yes.
No way.
But I could sit and listen to you forever. Amy, do you have, you've been awfully
I've been
quiet
taking
over
it all
I know.
in.
But do you have anything you really, like, you're just...
I want to know, Sheila, what's your go-to breakfast that makes you feel amazing every day?
My go-to breakfast, it fluctuates all the time, changes, but for sure, avocado.
Okay.
For sure, that's a given. It's a easy, quick protein for me, and for those busy moms, it's easy. I do eggs. I don't do a lot of eggs. Women need to be careful and other things, and there was forever 8 years that I didn't eat pork because of the parasite problem. And now, it's kind of come back a little bit. So I will have some bacon, not every day. And our body is not meant to have the same food every day, by the way. And so usually avocado. If I have any bread, it's the bread that I have, a bread lady that mills her own flour and makes her own bread. So that's the only bread I will have. I do not buy bread at the store, but it's very rare that I have bread for breakfast. And then I love leftovers.
For breakfast.
For breakfast, I do, yes. Especially this, salmon and, those kinds of things.
Sure.
And I do like curry.
I'm learning.
Okay.
I'm a baby curry girl. So I just really want to thank you for
Thank
being
you, guys.
here. Is there anything that you just want to share that we haven't asked you the question, but you're like, man, I really want to make sure that people get this information?
I just love having conversations with people, and that I'm so blessed to be in the spot that I am in my life right now, where I can do really what I want, and that's helping and serving people. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've worked my tail off for years to get me to this position where now I can serve and help people with their health, and that's my passion. And reach out, have a conversation, and wherever that leads. But if in that conversation I could help you increase your energy by 25%, or just give you, some food item, like whatever it is that you are struggling with in whatever area, just Seriously.
We're going to make sure that everything is in the show notes because you are a wealth of knowledge. Cleansing is just one of your pie things. Lisa has one final question for you. But again, I just really want to say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This has been brilliant.
Yeah, we do appreciate you. So our previous guest, paying it forward, she offered a question for the next guest. And her question was, what is the best free thing that people can do for their health?
The best free thing that somebody could do for their health. Well, there's so many. People just really do not know the damage and that diet pop and sugar pops and that kind of thing that are doing. So from a food drink aspect, get rid of those energy drinks because they are just heart attacks waiting to happen. Get rid of that. And it's high on my list because we drink so much of it. That's why it's high on my list, right? Is because it really is killing us and killing our kids. In the Western world, MS is mimicking aspartame poisoning. So you could, that's a whole can of worms, but stop the Monster energy drinks, the toxic energy drinks, and the diet pops and the pops with all the sugar.
And drink what instead?
There's a couple of good ones out there. Of course, I drink my Ningxia Red and my Zing. I mean, I was a pop girl, so I like a little carbonation and a little caffeine, and so it's a great product. But there are more of those drinks that aren't as heavily toxic that are coming out, for sure.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I really want to put an open invitation that you come back
geez, I'd love to.
We talk again at a later date. I think that for myself, and I'm sure for our listeners, they want more of you, and they can find more of you. You have many ways of getting in touch, and like I said, we'll put that on the show notes.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. If something we shared sparked a new idea, gave you a fresh perspective, or simply made you feel seen, we'd love for you to pass it on. Share this episode with a friend, a colleague, or a fellow powerhouse woman who's walking her own journey. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, keep showing up, keep rising, and remember, there's no ceiling you can't break through.